Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. How are we all doing on this Monday morning? This is Reganelite. Hello, everyone. Hi, guys. How you guys all doing? I hope you all are doing well. Excuse me. Oh, wonder what's up. Wonder why the light was a bit off. Missing a light. Welcome to Good Morning with myself, Reganelite, here on a lovely Monday morning here on the 16th of March 2026, just at 11 a.m. UK time. We are dual streaming live on youtube.com/Reganelite. And we're on twitch.tv/Reganelite1. For those who are new to this live stream, if you're new here, just for reference here, we normally do is we go for about an hour long. I'll give you guys today's daily quote. We have a look at the weather forecast for the next few days, and then we'll have a look at the news. We're going to be looking at some UK news. We're going to be looking at some world news. We're going to be looking at some American news. Obviously, of course, we'll have a look and see what's happening in the Middle East. Of course, there's going to be stories on that as well. So we're going to dive into all of that and see what the so-called mainstream media is saying, guys, and we'll share our thoughts, and you guys can too in the chat. Just a quick reminder for a couple of things before we go forward as well. I'll also be live tonight at 8 o'clock for the Viewpoint. For those who don't know what that live stream is, it's specifically content on UK news. We dive into some stories specifically, and we share our thoughts on them. So do join me for that show if you can. I'm also going to be doing a Discord after chat after the show tonight as well. So do join me on Discord. If you haven't got Discord, you can join me. The link for that is in the description as well. So we're doing the Discord after chat. Probably be around about 9:30 normally, because we normally go about an hour and a half sometimes on the Viewpoint, so be 9:30 in the evening probably. So if you want to join me on Discord for a talk about some of the news and whatnot, you're more than welcome to do so as well. The round table is this Thursday with myself, One Angry Pagan, and Daily Blase. I still haven't got another guest. There was one person I was trying to get, but I couldn't get a hold of them. So I've got a free slot right now. So there are two people I'm going to try first, and if I don't get a response from either of them, then it'll just be the three of us for this round table coming up, guys, for reference there. As for I'm just getting some housekeeping stuff out of the way while people are coming in. As for Rumble and Patreon, I am planning to record them today. They just won't be dropping at 12 o'clock. They will be dropping at some point today for both those for the platforms, so just bear with me for that as well. Shorts are already done, and yes, I'm still using the same camera, guys, and it's ultra sensitive. So if it freezes, it freezes. If it gets still, it gets still. What can I do? I have moved it. It used to be plugged behind the computer. Now I've plugged it at the front now. So hopefully it won't be too much of a problem. I also want to say thank you to everyone who came to the 3-year anniversary show on the 3-year anniversary show I did on Friday. It was absolutely fantastic. We went pretty much up to the 2-hour mark. So thank you to everyone who joined on that there. Got a lot of YouTube telling me you shouldn't be using this, you shouldn't be using that, but I don't monetize my live streams, as you guys know, so I don't get copyright strike. I'm not monetizing that live stream. So thank you to everyone who attended that 2-hour marathon there. I really appreciate that as well. So let's see who we've got in the chats. No one in Twitch chat at the moment. But if I just scroll up here, let me make sure I haven't missed anyone here. Good morning, Sarah Davis. How are you doing? Hope you had a good weekend. Same to you, personally. Good to see you there. Unquiet Badger there. Kevin, good to see you there. Good morning from Lakeland, Florida. Florida. That's definitely a state I definitely want to visit some point in my life there. Good to see you, Kevin. Hope you are doing well. Ellie, good morning to you. Hope you're doing well there. Robert, good morning to you there. Peter, good morning to you. Mel, good to see you there. Hope you're doing well. Good morning, fellow Badger. Billy Kershaw. Hope you had a good weekend there. Scott Hayes, good morning to you. Hope you are doing well there as well. Weebud, good morning to you. Hope you're doing well. Mandy, good to see you there as well. Hope you had a nice weekend. Witchy Goth there is lurking as she's doing some video editing work at the moment, guys. Do check out Witchy Goth's YouTube channel. There's a link in the description for her YouTube channel. If you ain't subscribed to her, do check her out. She does some wonderful content. Don't know if she's going live today. If she gets a chance to let us know, I'll reiterate it for you guys in the chat. Cavaland, good morning to you as well. Good to see you there. I hope you are doing well. I think that's everyone I've caught in the chat there. Right, let's get started, guys. Let's have a look at today's daily quota. Here is today's daily quote. I say quota or quotes. I was getting it mixed up, the name, all the time. So there is today's one, guys. If you can see it there. I'm being very sensitive with my legs. I'm not allowed to move my legs because if I go anywhere near the computer, it's just going to freeze the camera. So, so this one is from Marcus Aurelius here for today's daily quote, guys. So when you arise in the morning, think of what precious privileges it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, and to love. What a lovely, lovely quote from Marcus Aurelius there for Monday, guys. I hope that gives you guys a very nice day, a nice one to start off the week. Monday's always the worst day of the week, so I hope that quote makes your morning, guys. I really do. Got an interesting one for tomorrow, which we will check out tomorrow as well there. Peter, thank you so much for the £5 super chat. For the people of Yellowknife. Yes, for the people of Yellowknife. For people who don't know, Yellowknife is one of the coldest places on the planet. They have temperatures as low as minus 30 degrees at times in northern Canada there. Very, very cold place there. And I do actually want to visit it someday, actually, just to see for myself. Thank you so much for the £5 super chat there. The first of 5 for today's super chat goal. If we can get there, be greatly appreciated. And Witchy Goth has said she will be live today at 6 o'clock, guys. So just a reminder for those in the chat, Witchy Goth will be live at 6 p.m. for reference there. Okay, let's have a look at the weather, guys. See what the weather is saying here. Where is the weather button? There it is. Weather, boom. Okay, so for people who want to know, I'm using the bbc.co.uk/weather map. For those who are new, just wondering the reference here. I've got the date and the time set at Monday at 6 p.m. just for reference there as well. We're going to start from North America and we'll go our way over like we usually do. No, it's minus 21 today, guys, in Yellowknife. Not minus 21, so a little bit warmer for them. Churchill there, even colder at minus 27, and Anchorage over there in Alaska, minus 17 we got there for them. Going a bit further down, Winnipeg and Vancouver, minus 15 and 8 degrees respectively there. Ottawa 13 there. New York, sitting at 15 degrees there. Chicago, a very cold minus 4. With Denver at 4, Nashville 2. San Francisco and San Diego 20 and 22 respectively there. Miami's a very nice toasty warm 28 degrees, but they got some fair share of showers there down there. And then New Orleans sitting at 12 degrees. Excuse me, a bit further down into Mexico there, City, Mexico, sitting at 20 degrees with San Jose at 28. Kingston a very warm 30 degrees. Bit further down into the South American continent there, we got temperatures as high as 29 degrees with some as low as La Paz there at 15 degrees. Lima 26 there, Caracas 23, Rio de Janeiro there sitting at 29. Of course, as always, there is their fair share of tropical rainstorms as they normally get there. Crossing over to the African continent there, we got some temperatures as high as 29, even 31 in some parts there. Kikiska sitting at 28 there. Dar es Salaam at 27 there, with Cape Town at 23 there. Addis Ababa sitting at 20 degrees. There is some rain forecast in some spots, but most of the continent is normally very dry on the continent, most of it. It's going a bit further over here, New Zealand and Wellington sitting at 15 degrees each on those islands there. Home to Lord of the Rings. In Australia, we have Darwin, a very nice warm 26 degrees, with Alice Springs sitting at 22. Brisbane 21, Perth 23, with Melbourne a bit chillier at 17 degrees. But you can see there's fair share of rainstorms as there usually is there. Got Singapore sitting at 27 there. The Philippines' capital sitting at 23 degrees. Bangkok sitting at 28. Taiwan there at 18, capital sitting at 18 degrees. We've got Japan's islands. It's a nice dry day on the Japanese islands there, with Tokyo sitting at 8 degrees there. Shanghai into China there at 10 degrees, with the capital sitting at 5 degrees there. and Lansu sitting at 1 degree. Dhaka coming a bit further over there to at 24, with New Delhi sitting at 19 degrees. Going a bit further over where there is trouble in the Middle East, of course. Thoughts and prayers with all the innocent people who don't want anything to do with the wars and conflicts taking place there right now. Tehran sitting at 12 with Baghdad at 17. Kuwait City hitting 21 degrees. Riyadh at 27 there. Cairo sitting at 19. With Port Sudan sitting at 25 degrees. Let's have a look at our friends in Iceland to see what temperatures they've got today. They've got 2 degrees there. Still very cold in Iceland. They're sitting at 2 degrees. Let's have a look at Europe here and see what we've got forecast here. We've got a nice dry day in Madrid and Lisbon there, Spain and Portugal. Very, very dry at 17 and 20 degrees there. Even France is pretty dry there, with the capital Paris sitting at 10 degrees there. Down in the North African coast there, on the coast of the Mediterranean, Tripoli there, sitting on 11, Algiers at 12, with Tunis at 14 degrees. Parmelo and Rome 13 and 15 respectively there. So some showers in the southern capital of Italy, southern capital, the southern country of Italy there. Southern France sitting at Nice there, sitting at 15. There is some snow expected to drop around the French Alps there, with Bern, its capital, sitting at Switzerland, sitting at 7 degrees. Going a bit further over here, we can see Greece's capital sitting on 14 degrees there. Istanbul sitting at 8. Antalya 15 there. Bucharest and Chistu 8 degrees respectively there. Zagreb at 12 and Vienna at 11. Vitgilia in the Czechs with 6 degrees there in its capital, as well as Berlin sitting at 6 degrees, and Warsaw a bit warmer at 8. The Ukrainian capital Kiev is sitting on 6 degrees there, with Moscow much colder, 1 degrees there. No signs of any snowstorms expected from the looks of them there, but it's still a bit warmer in some parts of Russia there, with Oslo there also sitting at 3 degrees, and Brussels there sitting at 9 degrees respectively. Now if I scroll it a little bit back, I'm going to scroll it to 12 o'clock. This is what we're expecting in the next hour. So some parts of the UK will be dry right now. We've got temperatures as high as 11 and 10, with some sitting at 8 degrees. Scroll it a bit further on to later on in the day. There is this rainstorm that looks like it's going to be, it's hitting most of Ireland right now. If I scroll it a bit further on, so this is going to be dropping most of northern Wales, northern England, Midlands, and most of Scotland is going to be going through. So sometime in the next several hours, if you're living in these parts, you're going to get hit with rain. That's just inevitable, unfortunately. There, if I just scroll it a bit further on, you're going to get hit with that there. Am I going to get hit with rain where I am? Possibly. There, but you guys are going to, unfortunately, Scotland, you guys are going to bear the brunt of it there. But in terms of temperatures, it's not going to be too bad though. 10, 11 degrees, even for tonight, so it's not going to be too bad. Temperatures are much warmer there. If we go overnight here, we can see it's going to be a dry night as well. Temperatures sitting at 9 to 11 degrees there as well. So much nicer nights than we've had here. So this is definitely a change for sure. Going a bit further over to Tuesday morning here. The temperatures as high as 11 degrees and 10. Still no change in temperatures, guys. So this is pretty decent. Not too warm, not too cold. Pretty about, okay here. And we can see for Tuesday morning, most of Tuesday morning is going to be nice and dry, we can see here. Going a bit further into lunchtime, we'll see there is going to be some rain here. Here in the northern parts here of Scotland here. Scrolling it a bit further on to 3 in the afternoon here. There is a bit of rain on the northern coast, on the northern parts of Scotland there. They're more on the western part of Scotland, but the rest of the country looks like going to be pretty fine there, as well most of the UK. Northern Ireland's going to be experiencing some rain, unfortunately, for them. There will be a slight dip in temperature, slight, and I say slight, tomorrow afternoon/evening in Scotland. Some could be as low as 9 degrees possibly there, but I don't think it's going to be too bad. Let's go a bit further on here overnight, and again, most of the UK looks a bit dry. There is going to be some rain showers overnight in Scotland there. But if I scroll a bit further on here, got overnight here, there's a slight drop in temperature, so expecting it to be completely dry here. They're forecasting to be completely dry. I'm not 100% convinced by that, but that's what they're forecasting, and it looks like, Wednesday morning, Wednesday morning here again, no change, too much change in temperatures, and again, looks like it's going to be dry. It looks like, guys, for this week, we're going to be getting a lot of dry spells. Now, that could obviously change, but yeah, I think we have, there is a bit of a dip in temperatures for Thursday night there. So a little dip in temperatures here. If we go a bit further on, and we just have a quick look at Thursday here. So it looks like Thursday morning be a bit chilly. Bit chilly there. It's going to be a bit of a chilly temperatures there, but it doesn't look like there's any rain or snow forecast. Okay, there's a tiny bit of showers, but most of it there is going to be okay. So yeah, next couple of days, most of the UK is going to be dry, but there will be some scattered showers here and there. Unfortunately, today there will be some rain for sure. Most of the UK is going to suffer that. However, for tomorrow, pretty much most of tomorrow and most of Wednesday, we're going to be getting some dry spells there, and not to worry about the temperatures as well. Temperatures not going to be too much of an issue. Excuse me, which I think is going to be nice as well there. So that is your weather forecast. We'll have a look and see if it updates a bit more tomorrow there for you guys. Right, let's get into the news. Just before going to the news, what was the other thing? So something else I was supposed to remind you on. New camera is something I'm going to be trying to possibly get next month after I get paid at the end of this month, guys. So hopefully it won't be one that will be problematic. So that is something on the agenda, hopefully at the end of next month, depending on how money is going. Like I did say to you guys last week that I've had to shoe up a lot of money because there were a lot of things I needed to buy. Had some things I need to buy today as well. So I passed most of the barriers for sure. There was something else I was supposed to mention, and I've completely forgot what it is. Oh, yeah, next week, the non-politics show, guys. We're going to be doing another non-politics show on Thursday, the 26th. That's coming up as well. So that's literally in 10 days' time. So if you guys are interested in that, we did a lot of films there. And I'm going to, at some point, I don't know when, I'm going to go and see Project Hail Mary, which is in cinema. Supposed to be really, really good. I live just southeast London, just in southeast London, DJ Martin. I'm still technically in the London. I am technically in the London area. It does count as Kent where I am there. Right, let's have a look at the politics there. Good to see you, DJ Martin. Hope you're doing well. You had snow there last night in Fife. Damn. Oh yes, that's it. That's what I was meant to tell you guys. Going to Scotland in a few months' time in May. I'm really looking forward to it. I was chatting with a wee Scott dog last night in Discord. Let you know a bit closer to the time, but yeah, going to be going up there for a couple of days. I'll let you guys a bit know closer to the time whereabouts we might be heading. I'll let you guys a bit know closer to the time. Let's have a look at the news as well. Where are all the mods gone? There are no mods today. No Viper Scott, no Stephen Banker. I might have to rejig the mods here. I need to have. Yeah, it's surprising that there's no mods there. That's a bit concerning. Well, let me just. Can I? Hold on a second, guys. Let me just do something about that, because I don't like. I think it's very concerning that we don't have a mod. Let me. Where are you? Right. Just we'll have. Right. Gonna make you a moderator because I know I've had people advocating you to be a mod anyway. So yeah. Congratulations, Ellie. You're a mod. They need someone just to be there. I've had one or two people been primarily telling me to make you a mod, so I need someone here anyway, because I don't know where Stephen Banker and Viper Scott are. I'm sure you will handle the responsibility very well. Right, let's have a look at the news here. So, ministers plays down Trump's NATO threats, arguing US alliance is strong enough to outlast the current issues. UK Politics Live. So what else is on the live feed at the moment here? We got Starmer claims the process failure was to blame for Peter Mandelson being appointed ambassador to the US. This is 11 minutes ago. This is bollocks. We know this is bollocks here. we know this is bollocks because Starmer was well aware of his links to Epstein. So that's just don't buy that at all, guys. This is absolute. Starmer trying to basically claim that he didn't know, which is nonsense there. Starmer says he wants as many countries as possible involved in the plan to reopen Strait of Hormuz, but it will be difficult. He also says Starmer saying the UK looking at options, how far it can reopen the strait. I did see a tweet last night that the UK government have rejected sending warships to the Strait of Hormuz, which makes sense. Which makes sense as well because, as Dave McGuinness pointed out in his live stream, we don't really have much of a fleet anyway. So, which is kind of a bit folly anyway to say that. So, no worries, Ellie. I'm no worries, Ellie. I just needed someone. I just need someone here, at least one person here, and I don't know where the others are gone. So, I know you'll be fine. Starmer says he wants the war to end as quickly as possible. Yep, because the impact on the cost of living. Now, I want to just point something out here. The cost of living is not just because of this war. We were having a cost of living crisis before this war, and we're going to have a cost of living crisis after this war ends. So I just want to make this the idea of whether or not whenever this war in the Middle East ends, does not mean that the cost of living is over. People are still struggling. They were struggling before this, and they're going to be struggling after this here. So don't take it on board that it's like, oh, everything's going to be fine here. Starmer's literally just said it's not sensible to rule out in or out energy support measures for later this year, given so much uncertainty. He just literally asked this question in a press conference. Starmer says it's simply not sensible to start ruling out measures for later this year. He says to determine the clampdown on firms supplying heating oil that are ripping off customers, he says. Whether he does or not is going to be another thing. So those are some... Starmer says UK will not be drawn into wider war as he opens number 10 conference. He said the war is entering its third week. He said it's been clear in his objectives. We will protect our people in the region. Second, while taking necessary action to defend ourselves and our allies, we will not be drawn into a wider war. And third, we will be working towards a shift resolution that brings security and stability back into the region and stop Iranian threats to its neighbours. So, I don't know if you guys were aware of the short video I dropped over the weekend, but the United States is currently, as we speak, I know they're intending to deploy Marines to the Middle East. So that I don't know when they're going to be actually on the ground. That was something that was pretty much given authorization of. So there are going to be troops on the ground. I have heard from people that people have been basically called for the draft, basically being called up, people in reserves and whatnot and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, soldiers are literally being geared up to go to war in Iran, troops on the ground. When it actually happens, that's when I'll dive more into it. But yeah, there's definitely going to be troops on the ground there. I was very concerned that the UK were going to be forced to dive in a bit more here because of what's happening straight up Hormuz. But I think Keir Starmer, at the moment, on this particular foreign policy, I think Keir Starmer's handling it pretty well. I know, obviously, the big criticism of Keir Starmer with regards to this is obviously allowing the US to use its bases for so-called defensive purposes, but it still makes us a target for Iran. It is important, also worth pointing out, that the Iran foreign minister, when I last heard from him, when he was speaking about the UK, he did not consider the United Kingdom, in this regard, an enemy. But obviously, we are supporting the US because we're allowing them to use our bases. So that position can change at a whim there. So I think that context is really important with regards to what's happening there right now, guys. UK is not obliged to supply every demand of transitional US President, Minister says. No, the UK does and this is the thing. We need and the other thing as well is that Keir Starmer's on a tightrope anyway. So this makes him look a lot stronger. This will not only make him look a lot stronger, but it may actually get some more people to back Labour in the upcoming elections, because people, while there is issues locally and in the UK and nationally here, people will see how Keir Starmer's handling himself with regards to the Middle East, and people will credit that. People will take that on board when they go to the votes. And obviously the Peter Mandelson situation is something that's still in the back of minds of people. How much of that will affect the voting on Labour and Keir Starmer remains to be seen. So I am interested to see how polling on Labour will do. I'm interested to see a YouGov poll on how Labour have been polling since the start of this war and how Keir Starmer has responded and what people actually generally think in terms of polling. That would be very interesting to see if it's changed at all. What else we got here in The Guardian? So plans to cut NHS international workforce appear overambitious, says an MP's there. Some of these stories we may rehash tonight as well, guys, just for reference. Inquiry has been launched into HMRC anti-fraud scheme that wrongly cuts child benefit. Yeah, this was a big scandal when this happened. Lots and lots of parents really missed out on giving what missed out here. This was a huge scandal. HMRC, like child benefit, like. This inquiry needed to happen. This inquiry needed to happen because many parents just were not able to feed their kids and that they're already struggling. And I know, it's all well and good for people to say that they shouldn't be sitting on entitlements and whatnot, but that people need that money to survive. Some of them, literally. This is going to be a big story to talk about later on today. So there's more than 100 MPs are being called on the Prime Minister to stop assisting dying bill being blocked. I'm going to save my rant for tonight on that one, guys. I think that's one I definitely want to talk about tonight. Because I've expressed my frustration about it, and I'm going to save it for tonight there. This is one story that's been spoken about as well. UK plans to send minesweeping drones to help reopen the Strait of Hormuz. The government's reluctant to dispatch ships amid concerns complying with Trump's demands could escalate the Iran crisis. And again, this isn't going to make a difference, really. It's very easy for Iran to deploy mines into the sea. They can do it by air. They can do it by small boats. Like, they aren't going to be able to stop the mines being deployed in the Strait. They're just not. So, and the UK are just doing little bits to help out. But nothing really is going to escalate. This is not like game-changing. Oh, the UK are going to make things easier. Trust me, the US has their own mine-sweeping drones as well. So it's not, it's just that's important there as well. Decriminalising abortion, how the House of Lords amendments amend the legislation. Yeah, well, the House of Lords are against it. That's the crux of the issue that I have here. Yeah, won't be drawn to a wider war, Keir Starmer said. A Malton Mushy state scientist may have found a new type of liquid planet, apparently, according to them. Very interesting indeed. So what is it? Latest observation of L9859d, about 35 light years from Earth, suggests it could be different to anything seen before. They've identified a planet composed of molten lava, suggesting the existence of an entirely new category of liquid planet. Are you sure that's not a sun? So when about 1.6 times the size of Earth and orbits a small red star 35 light years away, astronomers initially thought the planet might harbour a deep ocean of liquid water, but latest analysis suggests it could be fundamentally different to anything seen before. You don't actually have a picture then. This is an artist's impression of the lava planet, apparently. Are you sure it's not a star? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. How can the UK be defensive when it allows the use of UK air bases to strike against Iran? Yeah, this is the argument that people have made against me, DJ, and I don't really have a counter argument to that point. I mean, the logic from the UK is that if we allow the US to use them, they can strike missile targets and missile targets that could be a threat to the UK and its allies. But the thing is that they say that they're not using the bases, they're using their bases for offensive purposes, but for defensive purposes. But it's like, how do you, and the obvious argument is as well, how do you know the US are not using them for offensive? You can't. Sixth form pupil, second person to die from measles tunnus outbreak, an MP says. Oh my God. Year 13 pupil University of Kent student had died after contracting geese, while 11 people seriously ill in hospital. School pupil has been confirmed as the second person to have died after an outbreak of measles in Kent. The measles outbreak area is a huge shock. People to disbelief. It's incredibly worrying. Absolutely terrible. He said to have spoken to the Health Secretary. Was expected to hear from the Health Secretary today. UK HSA said been notified between Friday and Sunday of 13 cases of people with the symptoms. Some students at the university can be given antibiotics, while others in Ireland hospitals. The specific strain of meningitis has not yet been identified. This could turn into something. Confirmed that needs to provide cases. There's no sense to hide down. We have ID scanners. That's more of a security measure. The UK HSS said anyone with meningitis and septilia symptoms should seek medical help urgently. Symptoms include a rash, sudden fever, severe headache, a stiff neck, vomiting and diarrhea, joint and muscle pains, sensitive to light, brights, cold hands, feet, seizures, confusions, and extreme sleeplessness. Interesting. Anyone can get meningitis, but it's most common in babies, children, teenagers, and young adults there. That's terrible. Thoughts and prayers. Hopefully not too many people will lose their lives there. Absolutely terrible for those who already have. Thames Water lenders float a new £10 billion rescue plan. Oh, for feck's sake. They're desperate to not nationalise it, aren't they? They are desperate to not see it nationalise, the government. Or any kind of temporary nationalisation. They just don't want to do it, guys. They just don't. They just don't. Let's have a look at the Associated Press here, see what they go say here. Iranian strikes rain down on the Gulf states. EU considers naval missions to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Also ask why France is increasing its military presence in the Middle East. I think it's more to do with Lebanon rather than what's happening in Iran. More than anything here. It says France's government is bolstering the country's military presence in the Middle East, dispatching its aircraft carriers and other warships, while President Emmanuel Macron engages in key players in the conflict, including Iran, in the bid to position Paris as a future diplomatic talks. Macron says that France's military involvement is strictly defensive and aims to avoid making the country a party to the war. He reaffirmed that position after one French soldier was killed on Thursday in a drone attack in Iraq. We are not at war with anyone, Macron says. Still, the large-scale deployment of the French Navy, which he described as unprecedented, has made France the European nation with the most prominent presence in the region. Visiting the Charles de Gaulle aircraft carrier last week, Macron said that its presence in the Mediterranean demonstrates France's strength at balancing power at force of peace. What are they doing then? So, deploying it to the Eastern Mediterranean, wider Middle East of 8 warships, 2 helicopter carriers, and a nuclear powered aircraft carrier, Charles de Gaulle, and its 20 Rafale fighter jets. Defending Gulf allies, which is what the UK are doing with what they got. Yeah, this is the main thing. This is the main reason why I think they're doing it. Historic ties with Lebanon. Yeah, so he's leading a diplomatic effort to try and halt the conflict in Lebanon, where at least 850 people killed and hundreds of thousands displaced as Hezbollah's militant groups entered a new round in fighting with Israel. Macron urged Hezbollah to stop fighting and called on Israel to renounce any ground offensive. Israel are completely ignoring that, and they are intending to launch a ground invasion. And they are going to annex territory. I think they're going to take some annexed territory, because the ultimate goal of the government and unfortunately some of its people is for greater Israel, which they want, which involves consuming pretty much the entire Lebanon and Syria and many other nations around it. France supports the Lebanese military as authorities have pledged to take control of positions held by Hezbollah and assume full responsibility for security of the country. Macron said Hezbollah's arsenal noticeably includes exporting drones similar to ones used by Iran. Yeah, it's already been a key supporter of Lebanon. Maintains 800 troops in the UN peacekeeping force there. The French government provided the country with armoured vehicles and operating personnel. They sent tons of military aid, yeah. Maintaining contact with Iran is one of the other points they have there as well. So it'll be interesting. To see how that progresses there. How Poland went from a post-communist wreck to one of the world's 20 biggest economies. The answer is simple. Pretty much down to earth basic stuff. They built on relationships, built on trade agreements, and didn't give all the money to the millionaires and billionaires like we have. They have a much better political system than we have, that's for sure. Fifth member of Iranian's women's soccer team gives up asylum in Australia. 3,800 workers are set to strike today in one of the largest meat packing plants in the US. It says here as well, Republicans resist calls for Iran war hearings, creating a new standoff with the Democrats. The Oscars, I wasn't watching the Oscars. I was watching wrestling last night. So I honestly am not interested in it. 2 dead after 2 boats carrying students capsized off the US-based construction site in southern Japan. That's an absolutely terrible story. AP finds an Israeli group discreetly organising a mysterious fight to evacuating Palestinians from Gaza. CEO of top airlines demands Congress restore funding to Homeland Security and pay airport workers. When prices go up, changing the way you can drive and stretch your fuel just a bit further. Yep, not good for them there. US Central Command releases video of US strike on Karg Island. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un observes test of rocket launch system with his daughter. Trump said he's asked about 7 countries to join the coalition police to strike Iran Strait of Hormuz. That's a short story coming out tomorrow. It'll be out later on today for members. Any other things here? Doomsday clock moves closer to midnight over threats from nuclear weapons, climate change, and AI apparently there. Apparently, according to The Simpsons, Donald Trump is supposed to die today, apparently, according to Simpsons as well. I saw that. I think Simpsons, according to Simpsons history, Donald Trump dies today, apparently, guys. I guess we'll see at the end of the day whether that actually happens or not. Any other stories here? Not really. There. A couple of stories there. Got about 30, we got 24 minutes to go before we hit 12 o'clock, guys. If you want to financially support me in the work that I do here, you can help get us to our super chat goal. I've still got 4 more super chats to get. If anyone wants to help support, that'd be greatly appreciated there. I'm saying now need to get mods get in mods good side there, says Mel. I'm sure Ellie will be extremely professional. Let's have a look at Sky News, see what they're saying here. It's probably most of the same stuff that Starmer's already been saying. Just have a quick look here, see if there's anything different. Starmer announces £53 million for heating oil customers. Why was that not in the Guardian's live feed? Keir Starmer has announced that his government will provide £53 million in support for people who use heating oil. Comes after prices almost doubled since the start of the conflict in the Middle East. So announced immediate support for vulnerable heating oil customers today, providing £53 million for those households that are most exposed. He said legal action will also be taken against oil companies they're found to have broken the law. Starmer says reports that companies have been cancelling orders and subsequently jacking up prices are completely unacceptable. He said this is one of 5 steps the government are taking alongside previous existing ones like energy price cap. He adds that a legal directive has been given to energy companies that they must ensure any money saved due to government intervention must be passed on to the consumer there. So, yeah, I know we can see there the oil prices have surged quite a fair bit there as well. We'll have to see. We'll see how that goes, guys. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully, for people who do rely on oil, it's something, I know people don't like giving credit to governments, but give credit when they're trying to support people. And it comes across to me that they are trying to support here. That's yesterday. Ed Miliband said Labour will help with energy costs, but doesn't say how. Well, we've just seen the announcement, so we know that answer now. Mel, thank you so much for the 27 SEK there. Ducks help. Ducks do help. The ducks do help. Quackers says thank you. Where are you, Quackers? Quackers says thank you, by the way. Yep, he's right in your face there. Right in the face there. Quackers is there. And you can use Quackers is your own emoji if you're a YouTube member there, just for reference there. Thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate your support. Thank you. Viper Scott, thank you so much for the £2 super chat. All hail the DPR, Ollie and the Quackers. Yes, Ollie and the Quackers. Ollie's already smiling, actually. Ollie's already smiling. There. Viper Scott, good to see you there. Hope you are doing well. Thank you for being here. Hope you are doing well. My friend had a great weekend. He's alive as well. Yeah, I'm sure Viper Scott was doing some important stuff. Yeah, he can't always be here. So there. And congratulations, Ellie. Yep, we needed another moderator, Viper Scott. So unfortunately, you weren't here. So yes. Good to see you there, my friend. Hope you are doing well. Right, let's carry on, guys. We've got one more to hit today's goal. Ex-Labour minister who missed confronting by John Arana Lumby in TV show has died. Always sad when people die. May they rest in peace. Petrol price rise comes to Downing Street. Dozens of MPs call for formal apology over Britain's actions during the Palestine administration. A 400-page legal petition has been sent to the government providing details of what they said under the British administration between 1917 and 1948. So in September, the British Owens Palestine Company Group submitted a 400-page legal petition to the government, which is yet to receive a response. Britain's KC, Ben Emerson and Danny Friedman wrote the substantial document which provides details of what they say are unlawful actions and war crimes committed during the British occupation of the region between 1917 and 1948. It says Britain unlawfully failed to recognise the Arab self-determination, lacked proper legal authority for the Balfour Declaration and the subsequent mandate, and committed war crimes and crimes against humanity, including murder, torture, arbitrary detention, and mass house demonstrations. We were a very, very nasty British Army, British Empire. People forget that. Alongside the petition, 45 MPs and peers from all parties signed an open letter calling on the British government to formally apologise. And they say the UK must confront its historical role and responsibility to support peace efforts today. Yeah, must do. But whether they will or not is another matter there. Thank you, Viper Scott, for the super chat there for Confetti. Yes, and you did send me the link, for something about that, which I have not put it on my list, but I've got lots of other things I've got on my list to do here anyway. Thank you so much for the for helping me reach today's super chat goal. Thank you to everyone who did send super chats today. Much appreciated, guys. And a reminder, as Ellie's just put in the chat there, 2 days will be live later on today at 4 p.m. Do join them for that if you can. I don't think I'll be able to join considering how much work I have to do for today. But if I get a chance to pop in and say hello, I will do that. Let's check the front of UK Sky News, see what they're saying here. A nursery worker who raped and abused toddlers has been jailed. Jailed? Should be hanged. No, I don't. Maybe that's a bit. Maybe I don't really advocate for the death penalty, but someone who does that, I have no sympathy for people like that. None whatsoever. Hundreds in masks and queues for antibiotics at school. People confirmed dead in the measles tetanus outbreak there. Very concerning indeed right now. I don't know. Canterbury area, Kent. I don't live near Canterbury. I don't think it's going to happen here where I am. But of course, I need to keep a very close eye on it for sure. I don't have any masks, guys, in case anyone's curious. I'm not planning any big trips this week anyway, to be during the week. 15 vehicles involved in a crash on the motorway there. Mother's been charged with the murder of a newborn baby, dies in fall from building. Oh my God. Intersticularly tattooed man found dead in a wheelie bin. Oh my God. These stories are just making me... Oh God. Let's find some more comfortable stories, because I don't like reading those headlines at all. Oh God, my thoughts and prayers for anyone who's suffering with any of those stories I just mentioned right now. Oh God. Sorry if you're eating or drinking and you heard me say that. Do apologise. Right, this is Al Jazeera here. It's got a must-read in Ukraine's Kharkov. 20,000 children go underground to study. Let's have a quick nose. Subway schools provide safety as Russian assaults have killed dozens of children in Ukraine, the second largest city. So in Kharkov subway school, children feel safer and less worried about aerial raids, Russian drones and missile attacks. So deep down in the subways there, the children are studying and learning. That's a good thing. This is very good considering this is underground in a subway. You wouldn't think it was underground. You would just think it's a normal school. That's very good. That's very, very good. That's a nice positive story there. It's good to see that, especially near the front lines, you know, where there's a lot of where obviously there's a lot of bombing and whatnot. It's good to see kids are still getting education in those areas. Very, very good to do. We needed that. Rafah crossing closure leaves Gaza patients trapped without treatment. because Israel doesn't care. And they've already launched it. The Israeli military launches ground operation in southern Lebanon. The Israeli army said its forces are striking key sites in southern Lebanon. Fierce clashes with Hezbollah continue near the town of Kazim. Yep, so they're already launching attack. Yeah, they're already launching the attack there. And no one's stopping them, by the way. Myanmar's parliament, dominated by pro-military party, convenes after 5 years. New parliament opens for the first time since the 2021 coup after elections that excluded major opposition parties. How can you take it seriously? Myanmar's parliament has convened for the first time since the 2021 coup after recent elections saw the pro-military party win the most seats as major opposition parties were barred from running. Well, yeah, it's not a democracy. You know, the opening of new parliament on Monday followed phased elections in December and January with the pro-military solidarity units dominated the lower vote turnout. No, God. A quarter of the available seats in the upper lower houses were reserved for the military. 21 other parties won 20 of those seats. Yeah, it's just, it's rigged. It's rigged. It's not representation of the people, and we know that they know, and they've killed innocent people. That military, that pro-military party, they've killed people. Why New York City's Mandami faces criticism over response to attacks on his wife? I'm not going to get into that story. If you want to know about that story, guys, you can check out Vosh's video on that one. I think it's taken a tiny little thing and made it into something massive, because anything they can do to undermine the New York City mayor, they'll do it. I was up late last night as well, guys, just for reference, in case you're wondering why I yawned there. Sorry, apologies. Oil prices keep rising as Trump seeks coalition. Let's have a look at the front of this. So, live feed right now. Iran's foreign minister says Strait of Hormuz is close to our enemies. So this is 2 minutes ago. Israel violating Lebanon's sovereignty, committing crimes in Gaza. Qatar's foreign ministry spokesperson says that the ongoing war is not bringing peace or security. Yep, that's true. That's an explainer video. Strait of Hormuz is close to our enemies, says Iran's foreign minister there. This is 17 minutes ago. The European Union announced 525 million euros in humanitarian aid for the Middle East in response to the conflict. Obviously, how it would get to the people who needs it to. There's a question. Obviously, we've seen the Prime Minister's reaction there. Germany, Greece not ruling out military involvement in Strait of Hormuz operations. The war in Iran has nothing to do with NATO, a German government spokesperson said, adding that Germany will not take part in the war, nor keeping the Strait of Hormuz open through military means. Oh, it rules out. Sorry, I misread it. Sorry. So Germany and Greece rule out military involvement in Strait of Hormuz's operations. Sorry, I misread that. My apologies. Greece will not engage in any military operation in Strait of Hormuz, Greece's government spokesperson has said as well. Iran's foreign minister said that Tehran has showed it's ready to take the war with the US and Israel as far as necessary. Iran needs to stop the attacks, Qatar's FN spokesperson has said. Well, who started it? Who started it in the first place? Maybe you should look at Israel and America. What else they got here? Iran thanks Pakistan for solidarity amid US-Israeli war on Iran. Yeah, the difference between Pakistan... Do you know what the difference between Iran and Pakistan? Pakistan has nuclear weapons. That's why nobody's going to invade them. Map shows 16 days of attacks. Map shows how 16 days of attacks have evolved in the US-Israel war on Iran. Continues to carry out attacks there. That's interesting. So it's showing the strikes there. From the 1st to today, from the 1st of March to today to yesterday. Interesting. You can see the dots. Obviously, the red dots are the ones that Iran have struck, and the blue and dark blue dots are obviously like either Israel or American strikes there. And we can see most of them have been inside Iran. There've been a lot of strikes there. Israel, of course, has had its fair share of strikes as well there. Interesting. Let's switch gears. I think that's all we can get out of Al Jazeera for now. We're going to do tomorrow. We will look at the we'll look at all the UK news tomorrow, as well as what's, and then some certain specific stories tonight at the Viewpoint at 8 o'clock. I'll be live again tonight at 8 o'clock, guys. So do join me for that show. Let's see what the BBC are saying here. I'm just going to give it a quick refresh just to see if there's any other things to add we haven't already seen. Companies offer £3,000 to hire jobless under 24s here. So the government is to pay more companies to hire more young people under Labour's latest plans to tackle spiralling rate of youth unemployment. So firms will get a £3,000 grant for every person they take on age 18 to 24 who is on benefits, has been looking for a job for 6 months or more. An existing grant scheme that pays firms to take on those who have been out of work for even longer will be expanded. It comes as ministers grapple with the unemployment crisis among young people, with over 950,000 16 to 24-year-olds not in education, employment or training, 1 in 8 people in that age group. So there's a problem with this, and this is coming from somebody who worked for more than 15 years in retail. I'll come to that in a moment, Viper Scott. Thank you so much for that. The problem with this, right, is that so you're incentivizing companies to basically take on people, right? Yeah, this is saying we are going to give you some money. You need to take on these young people, right? All right, but this is, it sounds on paper, it sounds very good, doesn't it? Because you're putting money in the hands of private companies, which says, which they like free money, because companies like free money, but they have to take on younger people. They got to take young people on board, right? Unfortunately, this is very abused. And as somebody who worked, I know during my time in Superdrug, when they had schemes like this from the Conservative government, Superdrug abused the crap out of it. So what a lot of private companies tend to do is they will take this on because they get free money, right? Because essentially the idea is that money that they get, these grants that they get, they use that money in order to work the employee. So they don't actually pay the employee. They don't actually have to pay the employee because they're getting that money straight from the government. So they have that person on for 6 months or more, whatever it is, right? And then after 6 months, they can let them go. So they can have 6 months of that person working for the company, and they don't have to pay, and the company doesn't have to pay a single penny. It's literally free labor for private companies. And now, in some cases, obviously, some of them end up staying on because they end up proving to be very valuable assets. But in some case, there's a lot of cases, and especially in a time where it's much harder for people to get back onto the job market and maintaining the job, and businesses keeping people, because obviously there's also the fact that you have to factor in AI as well. You have that factor taken in place as well. So, and the thing is that how do you stop that? So how do you stop them from taking somebody on and then basically sacking them 6 months later? That's the question I don't really have an answer for here. So, because this is definitely abused by private companies, because it's essentially free labor to them. And obviously, like I say, in some cases, obviously, they do end up staying on, which works. The question, I suppose, is this £3,000 for every person that they take on? Is that a benefit? Is that a benefit for our economy? Is that a benefit of the Treasury giving up this money to these companies with the intention of keeping them on? Unfortunately, there's not really data that I've seen that says to me that this kind of scheme is actually beneficial, because I know from someone who's worked in retail that these kind of schemes are very much abused by private companies. So how do you get around that situation here? So it says the government hopes, and this is the key word, hopes, that the youth child grants will support around 6,000 young people over the next 3 years. That's the key word here, hopes. So yeah, that's a big problem with it. One of 2,000 grant gives student leavers Head Start study fines. Okay. So care leavers who were given a one-off, no strings attached 2,000 grant were less likely to become homeless or spend time in hospitals or prisons, according to a new study. That's good. Then we should keep something like that going if it actually gets people off the streets and gets them into employment. The government-funded study recruited 302 people between age 25 and 18 to 25 there. All were initially asked to fill in an online survey before 100 were randomly chosen to receive the 2,000 grant from June 2023. So this is under the Conservatives. Those who were found to have received the money were more likely to be in stable housing, which is good. Less likely to be sofa surfing, which is also very good. Less likely to be arrested or have a criminal conviction. More likely to visit GPs and drop-in clinics, very good. Less likely to have overnight hospital stay. Young people who received the cash transfer consistently reported that they spent 12% less on alcohol, tobacco, or drugs than they had previously. Some of the impacts were higher at the 6-month point mark, others at 1 year point, but were positive overall. The findings on this trial are encouraging, with consistent positive efforts on participant, housing, stable well-being, social connectedness, private and contact on private service, on health services, as well as outcomes we measured there. These results highlight the potential benefits and conditional cash transfers, which are not only easy and cheaper to administer than other types of interventions, but also allow recipients more agency and dignity, recognizing that they themselves can usually get placed to make decisions about its life. So stuff like this, guys. You know, we were just talking similarly with the other grant here. So studies like this gives me optimism that they can work here. This is really, really good. And this was something that was done under the Conservatives. So credit where the credit is due to the Conservatives, regardless of how you feel about the party. When they do a positive policy that actually makes a difference to people's lives and actually gets more people in a better place, that is a good thing, and they should be credited for that. So I do credit the Conservative government because this was done under them here. So, you know, if studies show that it works, then do it again, because we are having a major problem when it comes to youngsters here. Thank you, Scott Hayes, for the £2 super chat. Something for the DPR. Thank you, my friend. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. I will be looking to get a camera, guys, once I have a bit more money in my bank account. I promise that. That is something I'm going to be wanting to fix. Thank you so much for that, Scott. It's very kind of you. Got about 4 minutes left, so let's have a look at what else the BBC have got here. There's fears of a two-tier health system as more turn to private care, says the watchdog. Well, unfortunately, in England, the problem is that we're not doing enough to keep people in the NHS. We're not keeping enough of our own staff, our own doctors, our own nurses. And, you know, when people can't get the healthcare they need, they're going to turn private, especially people who have the money to do so. It's much harder for people. It's much more difficult for people in with less money there. It's really, really struggling. I hate seeing that story. UK must build its own nuclear missile to end reliance on the US, said Lib Dems. We don't control our nuclear missiles in the UK. I don't like having nuclear missiles, but I also don't like us not being in control of the ones we've got here. I'm inclined to agree with the Liberal Democrats to a certain extent here. I don't like us having nuclear missiles at all, and I know my Scottish friends hate the fact that they're holding all the nuclear missiles on behalf of the UK government, and they hate it, and I know that. So you guys can vent your frustration on that, but I don't like that the US has the control of the buttons of our missiles here. That's a big problem. That's a big, big problem. But again, it comes down to where's the money going to come from. And the other thing is as well, this is totally against the Green Party policy as well. Police-style powers to tackle fly tippers are being considered. That was the story yesterday there. Doomed hierarchy peers spy chance to stay in the Lords. Stop those hereditary peers from staying in. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. Former Labour Minister dies after cancer diagnosis. Rest in peace. Churchill's granddaughter says she's happy with the picture of being replaced with a £5 note. I will say this. If there is anyone that should be on the £5 note, it should be Will Ospreay, who is a British wrestler and is one of the most positive, nicest human beings I've ever met. We should put his face on the £5 note. Not Churchill, not animals. We should put a professional wrestler on the back of the £5 note. That's my 2 cents on it there. Got about a minute left, so we'll have to leave the other websites for now. Let's have a look at the front of UK here. Alcohol-free beer and pet grooming used to measure inflation. Any other stories here? I'll carry on until I can't walk, says Paperboy A79. Oh, bless. What is this lovely story? At 7 o'clock on a Monday morning, village paperboy is busy doing his rounds. High street feds and yellow bag standing out against a grey blanket. Colin Bradley finished his delivery. He will not be heading to school. In fact, the school he used to go to has long been converted into houses. For Colin in Little Wingington, East Yorkshire, is 79 years old. There's nothing I don't like about this job. He says it in his rich Yorkshire accent. If I get wet, I get wet. I don't like wearing waterproofs because you sweat too much. Colin was a farm worker and a lorry driver before becoming a paperboy a decade ago. His late introduction to the role came when he filled in for 2 boys while they were on holiday before taking over permanently when they failed to return to work. He said his wife Rita don't mind, but told him, "You do realise how old you are to start doing a paper round." Back then, more people were buying papers. When I first started, I used to do 94 papers. I don't now, he says, pointing to a much lighter bag. Still, his rounds take him around about an hour. Despite being one of the oldest paper boys, he may be one of the fastest. Despite being 79, his pace is as such it's a struggle to keep up. And going in there now, he says, as he heads towards the house, you have to push the paper right through, or it gets drought. When I catch up, he asks if I've ever been bitten by a dog. Touch wood, no. I've been very, very close, and this frightens, it's this that frightens them. He tugs in his orange vest there. Very nice. That's very nice. That's a very nice story. I'd love to read more on it, guys, but we have ran out of time there. That's a very nice story. Fair play to him. 79 years old, and he's doing the paper rounds, guys. Absolutely lovely. Couldn't be more happier for him. If he likes doing it, why not? Why not? And it keeps him. It not only keeps himself busy, it also keeps him fit because he's constantly walking. This is a good thing, guys. This is a very, very good thing. So, guys, I want to say a massive thank you to everyone who came along tonight. Thank you, Viper Scott, for the 5 gifted memberships, by the way. I didn't call out them, did I? So, thank you for the memberships to the Magpie 1, Nick Aboy, Darth Z001, Craig Feinling, Michelle, and Michelle there. So, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships there. Thank you for your support. Really appreciate that. I'm sorry I almost forgot about that, didn't I? So, I'm glad I remembered that. So, yes, the 2 Davies will be live at 4 p.m. Do join them for their live stream there. And Witchy Goth will be live at 6 p.m. for her show. And I'll be back live again tonight at 8 o'clock. Followed by a Discord after chat. So if you guys want to join me on Discord after, probably be around about 9:30 by the time we finish. So if you want to join me for a bit, we can talk about news and politics, talk about anything. But I'll be lurking on the Discord chat tonight, guys. That is something I'm definitely doing as well. And I will get out Rumble and Patreon videos at some point today. I've got a long list of work to do. So, guys, if you can, on your way out, hit the like button, share across social media, subscribe if you haven't to already, and as well, check out links all down below. And thank you all again, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.